welcome to Tuesday Night Live from the Cloudy Sky Fantasy Football Show. As we are halfway through game week 16, look ahead to the midweek games. We'll look back and see what happened on last weekend. Much ado about nothing, really. You'll see my rank has gone from 67 to 68, so not very good at all, really, let's be honest. So, let's have a look and see how the team got on. Can everybody let me know in the chat if you can actually see the screen? I've got an error come up. Very strange. Maybe it's only on the playback. Okay, I'll carry on. If you let me know if you can hear me and see me, that'd be great. I'm going to see if I can get the team up on the screen, and we'll have a look, see what's going on with that. Yeah, so the screen's moving, just it wasn't showing. Oh, excellent. Thanks, John. Yeah, John Boy's in the chat, Dave, Aaron, and another Dave, evening all. So this was the team from last week. Raya in goal, Timber, No-Show Saliba, Shalabar and Munoz at the back, Semenyo, Undai and Enzo in the middle, and Haaland, Salah, No-Show and Thiago up front. And yeah, thanks, Dave. You can see the team. Excellent stuff. Thank you very much, gents. So yeah, as noted on the thumbnail, captain hooked. We haven't had a decent captain for, well, I think 1 in 4 game weeks now, and this week told the tale similarly. So Haaland, just 1 shot on target, I think, for his extra point to bump his 3 up to 6, when Thiago was sitting there all along on 14. And then on Sunday, went for Munoz, having seen the Manchester United lineup with Zerki up front. They'd played similarly against Everton and done not very well the previous week, so I thought we'll have Munoz. He managed to get himself a goal conceded, so dropped him down from 2 points to 1, and that was it, a 2-point captain. Fortunately, Salah didn't start, didn't even come on, so anybody that went for Salah got even less points. And there wasn't really much of a decent captain at all. Shalabar, I suppose, but I don't think anybody was expecting him to score, and they didn't get a clean sheet against Arsenal. So much ado about nothing. Let's have a bit more luck this week coming. So I'll have a look and see last week's leaderboard. So they see me in 68th. 10th is Jerry with Came in the Black Benz, 66 points up to 1082. Andrew Morn, the Canate Kid, 65, 1085. Johnny Curry, JC Milan, 60, 1088. Duncan Bailey, Bailey's Boys, he had 50, 1089. Salvatore De Janeiro with Guiar, 53, 1090. Martin Brown, allotment 11, 53, 1093. Alex with Fortuna Muckledore, 57, 1093. Aaron Smith with Burnett, 73, a very good score this week, up to 1116. Tony Davies in second with FT Lauderdale Strikers, 66, 1119. Closed the gap significantly on still top of the shop, Gary Robbins with GA Rovers. He had 50 points, holds on to his lead, but it's only a 5-point gap now at 1124. So I'll have a look and see who scored the points last week. So Brentford v Burnley, Brentford 3, Burnley 1. Thiago with a brace and Utara, all in the last 10 minutes of the game. And Fleming with a penalty for Burnley, again, that was in the last 10 minutes as well. Tier 3s, nothing on the Brentford side. For Burnley, tackles for Hartman and Florentino. Manchester City 3, Leeds United 2. Goals for Foden, first minute and the last minute with Gvardiol in the middle. And then Calvert-Lewin and Nemecha for Leeds. Tier 3s, Foden with 3 shots, Perry with 6 saves for a 3-pointer, and Tanaka with a tackle tier. Sunderland 3, Bournemouth 2. It's an entertaining game for those that were watching it. Goal scorers for Sunderland were Lafay with a penalty, Traore and Brobby. For Bournemouth, Adley and Adams. No tier 3s at all. Everton 1, Newcastle 4. Dewsbury Hall for Everton. Thial with a brace. Miley and Voltemada for Newcastle. Tier 3s, the only one was Passes for Ghana for Everton. Tottenham 1, Fulham 2 on Saturday night. Tete and Wilson in the first 10 minutes for Fulham before Kudos pulled one back. Tier 3s, Tete with tackles and Danzo with passes. And then the Sunday, early lunchtime kickoff, Crystal Palace 1, Manchester United 2. Goal scorers for Palace was Mateta with a penalty, and then the second half response from Zerke and Mount. No tier 3s at all. And then the 205s, Aston Villa 1, Wolves 0. Kamara with a crackerjack goal for Villa. Tier 3s for Johnston with the saves for Wolves and Andre with the tackles. Forest 0, Brighton 2. Goal scorers for Brighton was De Kuyper, defender playing at left wing. And Seamas, who came on as a substitute. Tier 3s, tackles for both Williams and Morato for Forest, and Van Heck with the passes for Brighton. West Ham 0, Liverpool 2. Much changed team for Liverpool and much changed performance. No tier 3s in the entire game. Goal scorers for Liverpool were Isak and Gakpo in the last minute. Chelsea 1, Arsenal 1 was the late game on Sunday. Red card for Casado, very much deserved, terrible tackle. Don't know why the referee was giving him a yellow card 5 minutes after the event and then going over to the monitor to give him a red. He should have just given him a red. Goal scorers were Shalabar, as previously mentioned, and Mikel Merino for Arsenal. Only tier 3 was Mosquera with the passing. So I'm just going to look at my phone. So we've got some team news for this week's games. So let's have a look. So first game today, Bournemouth v Everton. So lineups we have Bournemouth, Petrovic, Jimenez, Miloslajovic, Diakite, Truffert, Scott and Adams in the middle, Adley, Kluivert, Semenyo and Krupi up front. Everton are Pickford, Garner, O'Brien, Tarkowski, Mikolenko. Iragbunum, Dewsbury Hall in the middle, Grealish, Alcaraz and Undai behind Barry up front. Fulham v Man City. Fulham are Leno, Tete, Anderson, Bassi, Sessegnon, Lukic and Berg in the middle, Wilson, Smith Rowe, Iwobi behind Jimenez. Man City, Donnarumma, Nunes, Diaz, Gvardiol, O'Reilly, Gonzalez in the 6, Doku, Foden, Reinders and Silva behind Haaland. That's unchanged. Newcastle v Tottenham. It's 8:15 kickoff, so that'll be out shortly. If somebody gets that and drop it in the chat, that would be appreciated, gents. Thank you very much. Okay, let's have a look at the slides then. So we have, one return in 4 weeks. Time to steady the ship. Well, the players seem to have been doing okay. It's more a case of getting a captain. Went absolutely nowhere in the league and had 2 captain fails. So the other players must have done something okay. So this is team of the week so far. So Martinez in goal. Chow, De Kuyper, Tete and Shalabar at the back in a 4-4-2. Foden, Miley, Lafay, Adley in the middle with Thiago and Gakpo up front. 146 points in total for those. 85 million, 85.8 million spent. And if you look at the top 100 percentages, it's very binary, apart from Chalobah and Thiago. Chalobah's in 63 and Thiago is in 51. I think he is only going to get higher and higher. Reasonably priced, cheaply priced. And the reason he was cheaply priced is because nobody knew that Wissa was going to go from Brentford until late on in the window when he actually went, and then that Brentford weren't going to spend the money on a striker. They actually bought a right winger, so it sort of meant that Thiago was going to be up front and cheaply priced. And he's not just cheap in cloud, he's cheap in pretty much every other format as well. And I think he's going to be higher and higher and higher owned. So team of the season. So this is very similar to last week. Raya in goal, Chalobah, Timber, Munoz and Gabriel at the back. Gabriel will end up dropping down. He's going to be out for another month, apparently, according to Team News today. Mitchell is the change. He's come in for Calafiori. And then the front five are still the same. Semenyo, Enzo and Mbumo, with Haaland and Thiago up front. Transfer counts. So top 10... 28.7, that's actually up 3 from this time last week, which makes me think that either somebody with a lot of transfers has dropped out, or a few people with not a lot of transfers used have moved in. Top 50, 34.8, that's down 0.5% since last week. Top 100, 36.54, that's down 1%. And overall 40.62, that is down 0.5% as well. Okay, let's have a look at some stats. Oh no, I didn't want to do that just now. I wanted to move on and do the fixtures. So these are the fixtures for this week. So on the left I've got the midweek, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Got some sort of press conference news from the press conferences today ahead of the upcoming matches. See if I can find that. Yeah, here we go. This came courtesy of Fantasy Football Hub. So for Arsenal, Arteta said Saliba had a little niggle, but I think this is only going to be a matter of days. Trossard's still a doubt. Havertz targeting a return later this month. For Villa, Barkley out long term. Mings remains out. Brentford, Andrews reported knocks and bruises, nothing specific. Hopefully Thiago's fit. For Brighton, Rutter's a doubt. Concussion protocol. Mitoma back in full training. Burnley, no new issues. Roberts, Bayer and Amdouni remain out. Chelsea, Caicedo obviously suspended. Starting Reece James again is complicated apparently. I assume that means he's not going to start. And Palmer needs fitness, can start the game, but minutes likely to be managed. I think he'll probably come on off the bench this week. Palace, Sartemis out, could be a doubt for AFCON. Sosa could return in 15. For Leeds, Stack is available, James out for at least 2 months and Darlow returns to training. Liverpool, Isak, Wirtz and Gomez to see their minutes managed, may feature in all 3 games, but in Slot's words, I don't think they can play 3 times 90 minutes in a week. Bradley's back in training, could be available for next weekend at Leeds. Man United, no press conference before today. Cunha pictured in training. Sesko and Maguire are out still. Sunderland, Sadki available. Sirkin, Helke, Elise lack match fitness, and Diarra needs more time. I don't think we're going to be piling on those guys anyway. West Ham, Somerville misses out. Skulls back in non-contract training, and Paquetá obviously suspended. What a complete and utter idiot he made of himself on Sunday. And for Wolves, don't think we'll be going there either. Bottom of the table. Krejci misses out. Doherty might return. Rodrigo Gomez, Chouameni and Bentley remain out. Okay, so the fixtures this week. So tonight we've gone through the team news. We just went for Newcastle v Tottenham. I imagine captaincy is fairly straightforward. Everybody's going to be on Haaland. I certainly am. Tomorrow is a little more complicated. So I have Arsenal hosting Brentford, Villa travelling to Brighton, Burnley hosting Palace, Chelsea travelling to Leeds, Liverpool hosting Sunderland, and Wolves hosting Nottingham Forest. My original plan was to give Salah a last hurrah. If he's not in the team, what is the plan? Well, we'll have a look at that in a bit. And then currently with no Manchester United or West Ham players, I'm going to be buying one on Thursday. And I think with Mbumo, looks like all of the AFCON players are now going to leave on the 15th of December. It looks like Bruno Fernandes is going to be the man to bring in for United captaincies. Going to play every game, doing bits and pieces in them all. And my original plan was to look at Cunha, to look at bringing Saka in, but as we see when we look at the stats shortly, there's another Arsenal player that I think is probably better value than Mr. Saka. And then for the weekend, so it's a full house of matches on a Saturday really. Early kickoff is Arsenal at Villa. We've got Bournemouth hosting Chelsea, Brentford going to Tottenham, Burnley going to Newcastle, Everton playing Nottingham Forest, Leeds hosting Liverpool, and Manchester City at home to Sunderland. So again, I think it's going to be a Haaland all in. As mentioned last week, Super Sunday's less super this week because it's the final of the Grand Prix. We have Brighton hosting West Ham, and then Fulham hosting Crystal Palace. My original plan is Munoz, because he'll be the only one I own. If he's unfortunately booked this week, it's going to need a change of plan. I've got something in the pipeline, and it might be Jimenez, who comes in ahead of A, a decent run of fixtures, and B, a potential captaincy later on in the week. Later on in the month. They play the last game before Christmas on the Monday Night Football. And then on Monday this week, next Monday, we have Wolves hosting Manchester United. So whichever Manchester United player you've got, and I will have Fernandes, I think that is the way we're going to be looking for that. A quick look at Rob T's projections for this midweek set of fixtures. So those that are in the Blues and Reds, so Manchester City expected to score 1.9. They've got a 33% chance of a clean sheet. Newcastle 1.76, a 32% chance of a clean sheet. Arsenal 2.08 and a 47% chance. So Arsenal defence, but who's going to be playing? Saliba, if he's out, I think it'll probably be Hincapié and Mosquera. Does that mean that Timber and Calafiori are more likely to play? Well, I guess we will see with the lineups. Crystal Palace at 1.63 and a 40% chance away to Burnley. They don't seem to do much rotation, Palace, but they look very leggy this week on Sunday. Chelsea at 1.72 at Leeds and a 34% chance of a clean sheet. Again, Maresca is one that's known for rotation in midweek. Liverpool are 2.29 and 42% against Sunderland, who are doing okay. They were 2-0 down and still came back to win 3-2 on the weekend. And then Manchester United against the current whipping boys West Ham. They are 2.25 and a 35% chance of a clean sheet. Okay, so let's have a look. See if we can see any Newcastle v Tottenham news. Nothing yet. I'll have a look at that in a minute. Okay, so this is the overall points. No, John Boy's just put in the chat. Thanks, John. So Newcastle are Ramsdale, Livramento, Chow, Byrne and Hall. Miley, Tonali and Joe Linton in the middle. And they've got Murphy, Voltemada and Barnes up front. So I think that's pretty much as strong as they can go. Gordon probably get some time off the bench. And Tottenham go Vicario, Porro, Danzo, Romero, Udogie, Sarr, Bentancur, Kudos, Bergvall, Johnson and Koulibaly. So Bruno G is not playing for Tottenham, for Newcastle, and Van der Ven and Richarlison are not playing for Tottenham. I think there's a few still hanging around with Van der Ven, but not so many with the others. So, okay. So back to the player charts. So this Haaland still well at the top, 30 points clear from Thiago. Chalobah, 90 points now. Then high 80s for Timber and Munoz. Bruno Fernandes is in 25th there, 68 points. This is their points per 90. So top of the shop is Haaland. The one that's sticking his nose up at the right-hand side there is Saliba. So if he misses out this week, he might be off the 25 by the time we get to next week. There's points by ownerships. So there's a few lowly owned still. So Gabriel we know. Mitchell still only 3. Mateta, surprising, is only in 10% of teams. But I suppose there's many got Haaland and Thiago. So this, if you see Ruben and Van Heck and Cash all low down, Lacroix, Polinia, Pope, so still in 6 of 100 teams, Pope. He's been ruled out for 3 weeks, so about 6 games. You'll see Raya went up to 64% this week, so I imagine most that had Pope went to Raya. I certainly did. And then 2 at 40% on the right-hand side, there's Saliba and Fernandes. There's the points per million. So what I was looking for, no, it's not that chart I was looking for. I'll find another one in a minute. So it's tier points. Van Heck still at the top now on 33. Polina and Elliot Anderson on 29. I think Elliot Anderson might be one to look at as we get later into December. Forest have the 2 single game days, one against Fulham and one against West Ham. Haaland there, 28, alongside Rice. Have a look at the ownerships. So 100% for Haaland, Timber at 86, Semenyo, Raya and Chalobah all above 60 now. Now this is the chart that's got points with ownership on. So this is by ownership with the points in the columns. And the one that I was looking at there is Mr. Saka, 50% owned, but only like nearly 50 points. Whereas Rice, 25% owned and over 2 million cheaper, he's got over 70 points. So when we have a look at my plan, the planned Arsenal incomer is going to be Mr. Rice and not Mr. Saka. And we just have a look at these per 90s to see who's at the top. So Tosin and Saliba are in the green for passing. Similar names in the orange. I think Virgil's moved himself up a bit there. Shots, Haaland and Krupi are in the over 2s. Krupi starting today for Bournemouth. Tackles, Polina in the green. Florentino's just dropped out now into the orange alongside Ugarte, Veltman and Vifa. And the saves. So Areola got himself in the orange now. That was after about 9 or 10 saves in the game against Bournemouth last weekend. And then 6 or 7 in the yellow there. Dubravka, Trafford, Ruffs, Johnston, Mamdashvili, Sells, Pope and Vicario. At least 3 of those aren't playing anymore, I don't think. Trafford. Oh no, Johnston's come in the side, hasn't he? Mamdashvili is not, but Johnson took over from Sarr. Okay, so let's have a look and see potential team plans for this week. I've actually made 3 different plans. So one was a plan for if Saliba was out long term. It seems like he's going to be out days, not weeks. So I think this might end up going on the back burner. So you can see that I did Pope to Raya on Sunday. If Saliba was out, the plan for tomorrow was to do Virgil in for him and Ndiaye to Rice. And then that would have left Salah to Fernandes on Saturday. And it would have left 1.6 million in the bank, which is just enough to move either Semenyo or Enzo to another 10 million defender, which would have probably been Gabriel or the returning Saliba. I also made a transfer plan for no Salah. So this is if he doesn't start on Wednesday, tomorrow. So again, Ndiaye to Rice and Salah to Virgil. Left just enough money then to do Semenyo direct to Fernandes. Might seem strange to want to take Semenyo out, but he'll have played on this midweek anyway. Next couple of fixtures aren't as clever, and I was looking nearer the time towards Christmas. It could be that either Semenyo or Enzo were going to be my make weights for either a Forest or a Fulham West Ham combination to cover their single game days at the start and the end of the festive period. So captaincy for me is going to be Haaland. If I brought in Virgil, would I captain him? Possibly. Probably not. It could be that it goes straight to Declan Rice. It's a tricky one tomorrow. I'm not quite sure. It could be Munoz if he's playing again, away to Burnley. I think we'll stick a captaincy poll out and see. I'll put that out in the morning and see if we can get some votes on there. And then for Thursday coming up, Manchester United against West Ham. It's fairly simple for me. Don't know why I've got the captaincy sitting there. Must have been left over from previous, but it will be Bruno as captain. And that, gents, is pretty much it. We shall let everybody get off and watch the football. We'll be back again on Friday, and it'll probably be another similarly lengthed half an hour or so. A quick look back at what's happened this week, plans if any changes for next, and some updates. So enjoy the midweek, whichever games you're going to watch. They're all on Sky. Don't think the multi-view on tomorrow is going to be up to much. They really haven't done that very well at all. So pick a game and hopefully get some points and green arrows. All right, thanks very much for watching, everybody. If you enjoyed the video, please leave it a like. If you want to subscribe to the channel, please do. If you want to use the transfer planners that you go through in these shows, you find those over at Patreon, patreon.com/Cloudy Sky Fantasy Football Show. And we'll see you next week. Cheers, everybody. Bye for now. Take care.